Hello, arcade gamers, and welcome back to Biggie D's Arcade. Today, we're going to be discussing the New Wave Toys Ghosts and Goblins RepliCade. This little miniature micro arcade machine was sent out to me for the purposes of review. I've never owned a New Wave Toys. I've never owned one of these 1/6 scale cabinets before, but I've had it about 6 weeks, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it so far. I find it very entertaining for me at work because it is so small and mobile. It will sit right next to my monitors on my desk while I work. So visually, it gives me that nostalgic feeling even while I'm busy. But if I get 5 or 10 minutes to spare, I got a little downtime at work, I'll be able to play this, have a good time, try to get a high score. And I've had a lot of fun with it. I want to specifically focus this review on those buyers that have never purchased a New Wave Toys product before. They've never owned one because I haven't either. So I think this review will be useful for those buyers out there that are watching. It may create some excitement for you, or it may give you a reason to go out and get one. So I hope you guys find this fun. I hope you find it entertaining, but I also hope you find it useful. So let's go ahead and get into it right after this. I want to start my review with the packaging that the New Wave Toys products come in. They've done an exceptional job. There is an outer cardboard box that protects this inner cardboard box, but that is a perfect fit. So it actually protects this, and you would ask yourself, why are they protecting a cardboard box? Well, this is part of the collection, and the reason is this appears and looks just like what a arcade cabinet would look like when it came to your home on a pallet. It does say do not fork on this side up. It's got an area for your serial number in fragile. So they've done a really good, artistic, inventive way to, give you a reason to keep this and keep it as part of the collection. Then you've got this inner product box, which is all color. It's very well done. Everything looks very good resolution. Definitely worth keeping this box with the logos it has on it. One thing that does stick out to me that I really like is the little gravesite on the front, talking about how it looks, plays, and controls, just like the original Ghosts and Goblins arcade game. And it definitely does. They can back that up. And then on each side, it shows you all the different features, which we're going to get into in this review. And inside you have some foam packaging, which does a very good job of protecting this because it already comes pre-assembled, already put together, and you definitely want to keep it in perfect shape. So definitely want to, congratulate and then also just recognize New Wave Toys on their process and what they've done with their packaging. Good job, New Wave Toys. Okay, guys, I wanted to show you what you get in the box before we get into the cabinet itself. So you are going to get an instruction booklet. It says Romstar Ghost and Goblins, has its marquee on the front. Inside on that first page, you're going to see all the different cabinets New Wave Toys has, all the different side panel art. Also shows you what the cabinet is, what parts and different parts you need to know about, what those do, as well as it shows you how to start the game, warranty information, everything you're going to need to know in this one little manual. It is nice, though, that they do include it in this paper form because a lot of companies are doing electronic manuals now. Also, we've got some coins here. We've got 2 packages, which is nice. So if you lose one, you'll have another. We got some ball tops, some extra ones. So if you're unhappy with the red and you want to change that color out, you have 4 other options to choose from, as well as this faux power cable. This is just cosmetic. It has no function. You basically just plug it in on the back and it kind of gives you that idea of a power cable sticking out of the back. But this is everything you're going to get with the Ghost and Goblins RepliCade inside that box for you guys to look at here in case you were wondering. Next, I want to look at the Ghost and Goblins cabinet design. They've done an excellent job with the cabinet itself. The cut on the mold for the side panels is an exact match to what the original would look like. A lot of the Capcom cabinets looked like this back in the day, and they've done a really good job of recreating that. Even though this is a 1/6 scale cabinet, it's definitely the right and correct design and cut for the side panel. We do have the logos here on each side. It's just kind of like a sticker, but it is exact as far as what you would see on the original. Very good looking side panels. We've heard some people say a little bit like the color was off. I think the color is a pretty good match. And even if it wasn't an exact match, I do like this like bluish purple color that they used. Looking at the top here, this is where you're going to power it on. You have your power button. You have this little light that indicates whether or not it's on or off. And then also if you're charging, if it's got a full battery, and you've got an up and down volume slider. Looking at the back here, it does have a caution sticker here up towards the top. You've got a serial number here in the upper left. We've got a little access door here with some ventilation and a small little faux lock here on the back. It also says danger high voltage inside. Definitely not high voltage, but good for the visual to give you that feeling of a real arcade. The faux power cable I was discussing earlier is going to have an input right here for that. It is got no function, totally just visual. USB inputs, we have 2 of those for external controllers. We've got a charge input. They do include a USB-C cable for charging. They don't include the brick, but they give you the cable. And then we've got an HDMI input right here for HDMI out to a large screen. So that's really cool. It gives you the ability to play it on a bigger screen. Now the marquee is one of the best parts of this. I think they've done an excellent job on the marquee. Hopefully it comes through on camera, but it's an even distribution of light through the entire thing. No hot spots at all. Colors are fantastic and gives you that feeling you want, with a marquee. The bezel is got this kind of like a texture to it, and it kind of looks like it's painted on, but it isn't. But very good job. You've got some instructions here on the right side. Very small, hard to read. You would almost need a magnifying glass to read that. You've got your 1 and 2 player start, fire and jump on each side of the joystick, a nice little ball top joystick, very clicky, waterfall control panel with like a matte finish, very good to the touch of the finger. Feels great. We've got a coin in slot. We've got another coin in slot to the right. However, this is just a button you can press to coin in. We have a collection box for your coins. And one of my favorite parts about this Ghost and Goblins, and they included this year, is the coin op function. So they included those little miniature coins. Those aren't just for look. I can actually put that in the coin slot, and that's going to coin in. So now I can start my game and start playing using a coin, just like you would on the original arcade. So I've been enjoying that. Very cool, the new feature of the coin door and the coin op function this year. But excellent cabinet design. Definitely like a 10 out of 10, I think, from me on the visual look of this cabinet and how good of a job that they've done. Next, I wanted to show everyone that you can play this Ghost and Goblins RepliCade in this miniature micro form. That was one of my concerns going into it, but definitely found it's not that bad. So you drop your coin in, or you can press the coin button, and I'll press number 1 for first player. and I'm ready to go. I'll normally use my left hand to kind of hold it up, and right hand will kind of rest on its right side panel, and then I'll use my thumbs to play. And I've had pretty good luck playing. Obviously, it is such a small screen. You're probably not going to get your highest scores playing it this way, but you can make it a little bit challenging or more challenging on yourself to play it this way. And like I said, this sits on my desk at work. So I'll get like 5-10 minutes to spare. And I will typically play it this way if I only have that 5 or 10 minutes. Now, if I'm planning on doing some serious gameplay and I want to try and get like my highest score, I would definitely be using the HDMI out to put it on the big screen and use an external controller. So let me show that to you guys next and how to set that up. Lastly, guys, I just want to show you how to plug in a external controller as well as bring up your New Wave toys on the big screen. If you're chasing high scores, you're definitely going to want any advantage you can get. So what I'll do is I will plug in the supplied USB charging cable to the back. Then I plug in my Retrobit GameCube controller. This one has a little bit of lighting to it, draws a little bit of power. That's why I like to charge it while I play it this way. Then I take my HDMI cable from the back of my TV and I'll plug it into the HDMI port on the back. When I do that, the main display on the arcade cabinet will now shut off, and then it diverts that signal to my TV. I'll also have external controls now that I have the external controller plugged in, but I cannot start using the controller. I still have to either use one of the mini coins or press the coin in button. And now I press start on the controller and I can now play. And I definitely think, there's a use for this, especially, if you're score chasing, you're going to want the bigger screen and you're going to want the larger external controls. And it's nice that New Wave Toys is giving us these options. One other thing I wanted to show you guys while we have it up on the big screen is the option to get to the menu. So if I press the 1 and 2 button at the same time, brings up our menu, and there is a nice surprise at the top. We have game selection. So I can press the fire button, takes me into the game selection, and I have the option to change to Ghouls and Ghosts and play Ghouls and Ghosts. So they did have a Ghouls and Ghosts cabinet, and unfortunately, a lot of people had to choose one or the other. But what was nice about New Wave Toys is they included both games on both cabinets. I think that was nice. So we'll go back into the menu and I'll show you quickly what options we have. We can use the game controller to navigate this, but we have difficulty from easiest all the way up to the hardest level, 1 through 8. Then we have screen brightness, marquee, RepliCade scan lines I can turn on or off. Starting lives I can change. Bonus points I can change. Attract mode audio I can turn on or off. And then at the very bottom we got our battery level and a nice little background for the menu. And go back, we just press player 1 and 2 at the same time and it'll load up the ROM. So that is the external controller and HDMI out port. All right, arcade gamers, let's wrap up this review. And I want to kind of just recap what I've discussed so far. And that's mainly, the design of this thing. They've done an exceptional job of the artwork and the form factor and the coin op function. I'm really enjoying the ability to put a coin in to start a game. Also, the games themselves play very well. Enjoying playing these at work, like I'd said, but also like the fact that we can put it on the big screen, plug in an external controller, and be able to chase those high scores and be competitive. One area for improvement. So it was very difficult for me to find any areas of improvement because they've done such a great job with this and they've advanced these so much. But one area of improvement I would say is if New Wave Toys could somehow develop an online system for this to track high scores or possibly even bring us multiplayer. And I know that's more of like wishful thinking than an area for improvement because they've done just such a great job. And that's probably far into the future for them to be able to do something like that. But I think that's all that's really left for them to do to make these things just like perfect. And I'm sure they're still looking and trying to find ways to perfect these even more. And if you guys have suggestions out there on things you would like to see, go ahead and put those down in the comments. But overall, I've really enjoyed this thing, having a lot of fun with it. It's just the beginning of my journey on the miniature micro scale arcade collecting. But I definitely see a large amount of these in my future. Next one I'm going to be getting is Berserk. That's their next one up. Unfortunately, this Ghosts and Goblins at the time of this review is sold out. But next one up is going to be Frenzy and Berserk. And I think Berserk is probably the one that I'm going to get next. The Frenzy does provide you a little something different. It does have what's called the Survivor Series tag on it, which is going to look a little beat up. It's going to have some nicks and some broken corners and things to kind of give it that look of a really classic old arcade cabinet that has seen some use and abuse at the arcade. I think that's nice, giving people that option. That is not probably going to be the route I take. I'm probably going to collect the ones that look brand new, that are in pristine condition. That's just the look I like. So expect to see a similar review to this on Berserk when that releases. And then I'll also be probably purchasing many of these far into the future. There's just not that thought process that goes into buying one of these that I have to do going into one of the 3/4 scale or larger arcades. There's a lot of space you have to make for those, and you don't really have to use that space for these. And there's not that thought process behind purchasing one of these. So I could easily see myself collecting, 10, 20 of these over the course of the next year or two, as long as they're bringing out new products. Right now, I've noticed that's probably one of the hardest things to do is to find some of this stuff because it sells out so quickly. And then since it is a collectible, they don't go back and remake them. So it is something you have to be quick about. But if you follow Biggie D's Arcade, I'm definitely going to keep you in the know of which ones are coming out and when and what they're going to cost. So I hope you guys have found this video useful. I hope you guys have enjoyed it, found it entertaining. Definitely make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see everyone in the next one. Bye-bye.